Welcome to the Chenghou Project tutorial for Wipeout HD. Chenghou Project is the first example of a technical circuit in the game, with a very sharp hairpin corner waiting for you pretty much at the start of the lap. Pretty much the whole circuit though will be a test of how well you can use your air brakes and side shift, and also how well you can pitch your craft. So let's start off by taking a look at this complicated track on Venom class. And now let's go through the lap step by step. The first corner is a long right-hander, however there is a peak in the middle of the corner that you will need to deal with. Start on the left-hand side and then aim for the speed pad on the right apex. You will need to occasionally tap the right air brake to keep your craft going through. Just before you go over the peak, give a hard tap to the right air brake and allow your craft to drift to the outside line. There's a speed pad waiting on the right, which should indicate a good racing line. And now we come to the infamous hairpin corner. If you're in even a remotely heavy craft, you need to be very skillful with your racing line, your side shift and your air brakes if you want to make it through without letting up on the thrust. However, it's the approach that's going to make or break how you do this corner. Just before you hit the speed pad here, slam hard on the right air brake and slide the craft over to the right. This will give you much more room to navigate the corner. Once you reach the right wall, slam hard on the left air brake and aim as close to the apex of the hairpin as you possibly can. However, don't be too enthusiastic at aiming for the apex here. If you're slightly late with your turn, then you can correct it on the other side. However, if you're slightly early, you'll slam straight into the apex and you'll grind to a halt. I turned slightly late through this corner, and as a result I'm very close to the outside wall. You need to do two things to correct an approach like this. The first is a left side shift immediately away from the wall, and secondly you will need to slightly lift off the thruster in order to give your craft a slightly bigger turning rate. Don't be afraid of being too aggressive with the left side shift either, as there is a speed pad on the left hand side that you'll need to aim for. Once you hit the speed pad, use the right brake to bring your craft back in the straight line. Let's take one more look at the hairpin. In this run you can see that the craft almost clips the left apex, and that while it's still necessary to left side shift away, there is no need to lift off the thruster. Up ahead there are two ramps that lead onto a rather long straight. On lower speed classes it's actually possible to pull off two barrel rolls, one over each of the ramps. However, at the speed you're going in Phantom class, you're likely to only hit the first one. If you wanted to, you could also use a turbo over this ramp. However, you really need to be aware of the corner that directly follows the straight, as it's not an easy entry. So, as you go over the first ramp, barrel roll down the straight. Try and stay close to the centre as there's a speed pad waiting. The next corner is a long, relatively shallow left-hander. Under normal circumstances it would be a very easy corner to deal with. However, this is a left-hander that's sloped over to the right. Normally a slope in a corner would help you navigate it, however this one will try to fling you towards the outside wall. And in the worst cases, if you try to tackle it too aggressively, it will actually hurl you off the track entirely. So in order to deal with this, you need to have the nose of the craft firmly down all the way through the corner. If you manage to do that, then only light taps of the left air brake will be needed to guide the craft through the corner. Also, try and stay over to the right hand side. Not only is there a weapon pad down there, but if you do stray over to the left, you'll likely end up gaining height through the corner, which will destabilise the craft. If you have stayed over to the right hand side, there's a speed pad waiting for you on exit. However, if you're in a weapons race, there'll be a weapon pad directly to the left of it. Whichever one you go for is up to you. Once you come out of the tunnel, there's a short open section leading into a shallow right-hander. There are a set of speed pads ahead that would benefit from an approach from the left hand side, so try to stay as far over to the left as you can. As this section is fairly straight, if you do have a turbo, you could potentially use it here as well. However, it would make hitting both of the speed pads slightly more difficult. The first of the two speed pads is on the left, the second is over to the right. The simplest way to hit the right speed pad will be to right side shift. However, a light tap of the right air brake would also serve adequately. However, if you've used a turbo coming into this corner, side shifting isn't recommended due to the sharper right hander that directly follows. So because of the speed of your approach, if you have used a turbo, it may be advisable only to hit the speed pad on the left. So up ahead is the sharper right hander, and this is also followed by a relatively sharp left hander as well. Both of them are slightly sloped. While simply using the air brakes is a viable option to tackle these corners, I prefer to take a wider line and then side shift towards each apex. If you can exit the left hander on the inside, there's a speed pad ready to take you over the jump. While this jump is the perfect barrel roll opportunity, you need to be aware of the right-left-right chicane that waits for you at the end. There is a speed pad on the inside of the first right hander, however should you need it there is also a weapon pad further over to the left. Whichever one you go for will affect your line through these three corners. Regardless of which one you go for, you need to be ready for a quick right turn as soon as you land the barrel roll. As you enter the tunnel, tap the right air brake to take you onto the speed pad. As soon as you reach the apex of this right hander, immediately hit the left air brake to take you over to the left apex. And then do the exact opposite as soon as you hit the left apex. Immediately switch to the right air brake and swing yourself through the last corner. Aim to exit over to the left as there's a double speed pad waiting to take you over the line. If you haven't managed to start the right turn early enough, you'll need a right side shift on exit to pull yourself away from the wall. You may end up missing the double speed pad because of this. And now let's see the whole lap at full speed. Thanks very much for watching and good luck with the game.